Welcome to Button Smash, everybody. Thank you for watching out there on twitch.tv/RealRogueMatter, listening to us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and everywhere you listen to a podcast. While you're home, socially distancing, keeping safe, eating some nice meats, putting them things together. And for all you vegans, haha, what are you even doing? Anyway, on tonight's show, we got a lot of stuff to talk about, some spicy content, and maybe some trigger warnings for everybody who's sitting there who might get a little bit queasy when it comes to certain topics. But before we get into any of that, let's see who we got with us today. First up, got TV's Casey.
Hey, it's me.
Yeah. Got Jay's Mac.
What's up, you bots?
How dare you? Got Dot Chris.
For the record, meat eater. Meat eater here. I eat the meat. You're welcome. Just let that separate. You good? You good? That was
We're good. Oh, man. What's going on, everyone? All right. So, and I'm your host here in the back. I always forget to introduce myself. So, guys, got a lot of stuff going on in the latest in the realm of the gaming industry. But first, let's talk about something that's been happening. So, recent timeline has brought up a bunch of interesting conversations within the gaming community and just human community in general. So, timeline. A very prominent Twitch streamer and Call of Duty personality named Symphony dropped the N-bomb on stream the other day. So what had happened was Symphony, who's a one of the big dogs when it comes to Call of Duty streaming. We're talking about this guy has probably maybe 20,000 people watching every day. He's got millions of followers on YouTube, on Twitter, what have you. He was talking to his boy Myth. Myth is a very prominent and also a big dog in the streaming world and also on YouTube. Who's he's biracial, but he's black. So Sim was talking to his boy Myth about going on a hike. So what had happened was he was feeling himself. He was like, "Hey man, keep this in mind too." In his defense, we'll go into his defense in a moment. That he also stutters. So what he's claiming is that he jumbled up a bunch of words together and he stuttered. And, you know, he was talking about going on a hike saying, "Hey, man, I'm ready for this hike. You know, like N-word, I'm ready for this. Let's go. My back's all good." And his chat was like, "Wait, what? There's no way Symphony just dropped the N-bomb. There's no way. This kid? Nah." And everyone was just like, "I think I heard it." And it kept being replayed and replayed and replayed. And there's nothing you can hear other than the N-word, not with the ER, but with the A, with the soft A. And I even played it to a couple different people, some people who have no idea what Twitch is, YouTube, none of that space. I'm like, "Hey, let me know what you hear." And I only prefaced it with, "He stutters." That's it. And all the people that I played it to was like, whoa, you got to warn me when you're going to play something that has the N-bomb in it. You know, because we were also at work. And I was like, okay, well, in his defense, he says he didn't say the N-word. He stuttered and jumbled up a bunch of things. But everyone that I played it to, and I played it to a good portion of people, bro. I even you know, DMs from friends who are out of my state. I was like, "Hey, let me know what you hear. Preface it with, he stutters." And everybody is like, "He said the N-word." Like, well, what else am I supposed to hear? Is this like a Laurel thing? Is this like the blue black dress type thing?
The rural juror.
Yeah. And I was just like, well, what if I told you that his community like is backing him and saying he didn't say it? And also the community's response is the other problem with this issue was that a lot of people were coming to his defense saying, "Hey man, even if he did say it, it's not that big of a deal." And here's why that's problematic. One, you just can't say the word. One, period. That's it. And two, and two,
done.
Enough said.
You can't say the word. Repeat steps 1 to 2 until you just don't say the word anymore. You know what I mean? And three, in his defense, he's claiming that he stutters a lot. He jumbled a bunch of words together. I stutter too, but I don't say anything that even remotely sounds like the N-word with the A at the end. And that's what he's claiming. Now, a lot of his, you know, friends and his girls come to his defense, obviously. People are pointing to his boy Myth that he was talking to, who's the black streamer, and he stood up for him saying, "Hey man, it's not within him to say this word." Symphony said himself, he's like, "That's not in my vocabulary. I don't say that word. It's never within me." And his boy Myth was saying, "Hey, that's not him. I know him, yada yada." I mean, what I have to say about that is, one, a lot of people were using that clip of Myth saying that on his stream, saying, "Hey, I was at," so Myth said, he's like, "Listen, I was at home. I had my phone in one hand, you know, I had him in the other, and we're talking about hiking, and then he dropped that, and then Myth starts laughing, you know. And what didn't help Symphony was that Myth was in his chat live when this happened, and he was kind of memeing it. He was like, dog, you didn't just say that, did you? Like, dog, come on.
Oh, God.
And there were other, like his other boys who are also black were in the stream like, yo, and he was pleading with them. He's like, please, guys, come on, I didn't say it. You guys, like, don't feed in that, please, don't meme it, please, don't meme it. Like, you guys can't buy into this. So it really didn't help his case.
Yeah.
And the other thing was a lot of people were pointing to Myth saying, hey, his own boy, you know, Myths is saying that it's cool. He didn't say it, yada, yada, yada. So that's that. And when prominent, another big dog, FaZe Swag came in, a.k.a. Chris, if you don't want to call him Swag, talked about it. He was getting DMs in his timeline saying, hey, man, and Swag is like, when you look up Call of Duty players and streamers, you see these guys, right? And Swag is one of the top dogs in Call of Duty, YouTube, Twitch streams, and he's black. He's also biracial, but he identifies as black. But he was saying how, he said it's uncool how, one, Symphony said that he didn't say, but at the same time, Swag DM'd him saying, hey, man, I saw the clip. Just put out a statement. I'm not trying to put you on trial. I'm not trying to put you on blast. I don't think you're racist and stuff like that, but I need you to say something, you know? And it wasn't until 12 hours later that Symphony's team put something together in the form of a tweet longer, where he was just like, you know, I seen the clip a bunch of times. It's not within me to say the N-word. I said it with, everyone says, you know, I said it with the A, even though that's not within me. That's not my character. Everyone who knows me, that's not me. If everyone thought I said it, you know, that's what you heard. Like, he basically just kind of, it wasn't good enough for me, but I'm not trying to cancel him or put him on trial. Swag was also not trying to put him up on trial or cancel him. You know what I mean? But people were coming at Swag telling me, hey, man, Myth, you know, the big dog like black streamer was like, hey man, he already okayed him, so what the hell's your problem? Are you clout chasing? What's going on, man? First off, you can't talk to another big dog who has millions of viewers and millions of, like, first off, Swag gets more views on Twitch than Symphony does. Let's not even cap about that, right? When season 2, when the latest season of Call of Duty dropped, Swag had about like 90,000 people watching. Right, and Symphony had 20. I'm not trying to put numbers up, but people talking about how Swag is clout chasing, talking about, hey man, why are you like bringing this stuff up to? Like, why are you going after Symphony? Are you clout chasing? Are you riding? It's like maybe he's a black man who heard a white person say the N-word with an A, and he's trying to get him straight about this. You know what I mean? He's like, hey man, and he even put this all public. He DM'd, he's like, hey man, I'm not looking to, you know, come at you funny, but I would appreciate it if you put out a statement. And he did 12 hours later, and you know his team put that together. So Swag was saying it's more so, it's less on the fact that Symphony said it with the A and stuff like that. It was more so the community's response as well, because they're looking up to their idol. They're looking up to Symphony. They're looking up to their guy. And it's just like, well, he said he didn't say it right there on stream. He addressed it, and then he didn't say anything until like hours later, so not big of a deal. But everyone's missing the point, you know what I mean? And another point that Swag was making was that, listen, you can't tell people how to feel about this, you know what I mean? And right. A part of this whole thing was that people were saying, hey, don't make, you know, a mountain out of an anthill, you know what I mean? Like, it's not really a thing. And it is, you know?
Yeah.
I personally don't hear anything else but the N-word. I think he was feeling himself for a moment, and he said it. If you say it in private, it's gonna slip in public, and I think that's what happened. You know, there are people who are saying, oh, he doesn't say it in private. I'm like, listen, I stutter too. Again, for the people in the back, it does not come out. When I say you can mesh words together, but like, how can something like that, what are the chances? What are the chances of asteroids hitting Earth and like that'll wipe out the entirety? What's the chances of Armageddon actually happening, just like in the movies? And what's the chances of a stutter, words meshed together to sound just like the end?
What were you also trying to say?
Yeah,
that's the other thing too that Swag was pointing out. He said, "What like? Why don't you in your statement also try to say what is it that you were trying to say? Well, what did you think you said?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You said you played it back a bunch of times. What did you think you were saying?" And he didn't even say that. So I don't think he, one, was being racist. I don't think, two, he should be deplatformed. I agree with some of the other content creators on Twitch who are black saying, let's use this as a teaching moment. Don't cancel, don't ban. Apparently Twitch is looking into it. use it as a teaching moment, because he didn't say it with malice. He didn't say it with an ER. He was talking to his boy. I think he says it in private. I don't know the guy, but the only time it slips like that is when you say it in private. And I've told white people, don't say it in private. It won't slip out in public.
That's true.
Stuff like this happens. You know what I mean? If someone's an anti-Semite, guess what's going to happen in public? Eventually, that anti-Semitism is going to come out. You know what I mean? I mean, you have guys like PewDiePie who said it on a live stream with a hard ER, and he's like, I don't say it in private. You don't say it in private. Are you out of here?
How'd you say it in public? Oh man.
And you know what? Somebody like him, he owned up to that like almost right away. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And I think that's what gets Symphony into a little bit of into more scrutiny, is because he's like, oh, I don't say it. It's not my vocabulary. Dude, it's in literally everybody's vocabulary. Whether you say it or not is the thing, right? You've learned about that word. You know what that word is. Once you hear it and you understand what that means and you understand the impact, that's in your vocabulary. Whether or not you say it is another thing. And I think that's such a shit excuse. Like, oh, it's not in his vocabulary. It is. It's in everybody's vocabulary, unfortunately, because it was a word that was invented as a word that we heard. I think it's dumb. Like, you got people like XQC. They're like, oh, yeah, he didn't say it. He didn't say it. Like, it just makes it weirder. You know what I mean? Just say it like, oh, shit. Like, I said it. I'm so sorry. Like, I think that would have gone over a lot more smooth, and it would have probably been forgotten about already at this point. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, exactly. And that's all, you know, so like, you know, the top like black content creators are asking for, including Swag. He was like, yo, I'm not looking, you know, to cancel you, but at least be like, hey, yeah, I said it. I didn't mean to say it. It's you know, I don't have hatred because, you know,
right.
I mean? But it's the fact that he kind of played aloof, and he was like, well, he's like, chat, come on, man. He's like, Myth, come on, don't meme that, please. Like, guys, I didn't say it. Like, and then it just twit longer. He's like, I don't, come on, it's not. And then all of his people, like, listen, also something that people need to realize that that black people are not a monolith, all right? People are pointing to Myth's clip of him saying it on, of him addressing it on his stream, talking about, well, Myth okayed him. It doesn't matter. And people were using that as evidence against FaZe Swag, saying, hey, Myth already okayed him. What's your problem? But that's the problem. That's the problem. That's your racial bias. You're like, oh, well, this black guy said it's okay. Why do you as a black guy think it's not okay? It's like,
that's the equivalent. That's the equivalent of saying, well, oh, I have a black friend, so it's okay. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, if I went out and said it, Sergio, right? And I said it to a friend and somebody heard me and they're like, dude, Jay, what the fuck? And I'm like, oh, no, I'm my friend Sergio. He's black. Like, it's cool. Like, you're not even around. You know what I mean? You're gonna have the that
reverse
sneezing moment, and you're gonna be like, why am I pissed at Jay suddenly? Like, why did this happen?
Somewhere Jay missed it.
Oh man. So the question is like,
I think just dancing around it and pretending like you didn't say it, or coming up with excuses as to why it wasn't what you said, just makes it weirder and dumber, dude. Just you know what? Let's say that this was that asteroid, right? Let's say that this was that, like, that 1 in a billion chance that it was a stutter, and somehow the stutter strung along to have that word come out. Okay. You didn't mean to say it. Say sorry anyway. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, isn't that just like the easier thing to do, even though you genuinely don't believe you said it? Like, I know you don't want to like crumble and fold to peer pressure and stuff like that, like outside, and like, you know, cancel yourself necessarily, whatever it is. But like, have some sort of like, read the room a little bit. You know what I mean? Like, have some sort of sense.
Yeah, I would say like, what do you want? What is the optimal outcome? And the optimal outcome is that he knows that that is not okay to say. But, you know, regardless of the intention, he said it. You can't deny you said it because you're on tape. Like, it came out. Regardless,
you're literally on tape.
You literally are on tape doing it.
They got you in 4K.
You got caught in 4K. Homie.
So, like, the first part of his statement where he denies saying it, it's like, no, you said it, like, regardless. But in the end, knowing that he knows that it is incorrect, he's released a statement saying this is not okay. It's not okay that it came out. I mean, like, what more do you want besides him apologizing and it bringing attention to something that needs more attention brought to it? So, like, I think the net positive is a good one, that we're having the conversation, because that's the hardest thing about this, is having the conversation about it. But the fact that everyone's learning from this, great. Don't say it. If you accidentally say it, know the impact of the word, know that it's wrong, say that it's wrong, call out the racism. Yep, it's a racist word. Cool. Like, I like to say, not everyone's racist, but everyone's said some racist shit. Like,
yep.
Just own up to it.
Learn from it.
Exactly, yeah, and I agree with Lank in the comment section here live on Twitch. You know, people never consider the implications of, you know, what happens to Myth if he says that Symphony did say it. You know, so everyone's got to take that with a grain of salt, because everyone using, you know, Myth's live stream is like, oh, hey, like he already okayed him. You know, if he and Myth have a relationship, it could hurt Myth and Symphony's relationship as friends. And two, you know, that's his boy. Like if Symphony does say it in private, Myth is not going to be like, oh yeah, by the way, he does say. That makes it worse.
Yeah,
it makes it so much worse. So you know, him and, you know, Courage JD, another one of his boys, you know, and everybody else are just giving it like, listen, you guys are all his friends. Like, you know, it's great to see you riding out for Symphony, but at the same time, you know, like, you're not going to say if he says it for like, you're just not, you know what I mean? Like, look what happened to Ninja. He definitely says it, you know, in private in the context of like rap, because like Ninja got caught in 4K on stream. You know, he was rapping a song and he put in the N-word where there wasn't even in the lyrics an N-word, but he was just rapping the song, and I guess he thought I was in there, and then boom, there was live on stream. Caught in 4K.
Wrong vibe. Wrong
you know
vibe.
I mean? Yeah, exactly. You know, also, you know, not being racist, but still saying the word. It's like, just don't practice and don't do it in private, and it won't slip up, homie. You know what I mean? Like it's the same thing with anything else. It's going to come out eventually, you know. Twitch streamers are live for a long period of time. They go live every single day to a lot of people. I don't know what else he could have said. It's not a good look. And just like Jay said and you know, Chris said, it's like, just acknowledge it and move on. And for the fact that, you know, Swag was like DMing him like, hey man, like say something, and it took him like 12 hours according to Swag to be like,
and
hey,
it was a non-apology.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there's a part in the
Yeah.
apology where he was just like, you know, you people know who, like, some, like, you know, thank you to those.
What do you
not
mean,
for me.
you people?
And then, yeah, a part of it was he was just like, you know, so some of you who are trying to educate me, it's not your place to do so. And I'm like, who are you talking about? People who are trying to,
Not our place?
yeah.
Are you trying to tell me to stay
It's
in my
literally the
lane,
community's
boy?
place to do that, dude.
Yeah.
Like,
What?
Yeah. It's,
You
I don't
gotta,
know.
you gotta call it out.
It's so insane. Like, again, I don't think, you know, he should be canceled. I don't think he should be taken off Twitch. I don't think he should be banned or that stuff. And I don't think he was being racist. Like, he was talking to his boy who's black, and he was feeling himself, and he was just like, he's like, hey, are you ready for the hike tomorrow? And he's like, hey, I'm ready for a hike today. My back's all good. I'm ready for a hike tomorrow. Let's go. And then everyone's just like, what? And even better, what also does not work for him was that Myth's response wasn't his first response wasn't like, oh man, his response was like, yo. So I was like,
Yeah.
yo, holy crap. And then the other people were just like, yo. You know, so it's just like, it doesn't help you too, dog. And afterwards they're just like, oh yeah. And I just want to say one thing to his friends that are sticking up for him. Of course you're gonna ride for him, but miss me with the whole, oh, you know, he wouldn't hurt a fly, he's such a gentle soul. That's nothing to do with saying the N-word with an A. Him not like, oh, like he's such a gentle soul, he's a kind guy, you know, like that's nothing to do with saying the N-word with the A. Miss me with that. All his
just
friends
bullshit
are just like,
damage control talk, dude.
Yeah.
Like, that's all that is. When like Courage JD like kind of stresses me out for some reason. I don't know what it is about him, but
because he seems fake.
big time.
Yeah.
And it's so him coming out and saying that, and then like, you know, all these people are like, oh, he's such a gentle soul. I'm like, dude, yep, okay, maybe he is, but that's dumb. You're dumber for saying that now, Courage. Like,
Yeah,
it just exposes a lot of people and how weird they are.
it really does, you know, like, you know, no smoke to Courage, but that tweet was not a good look. He'd talk about, oh, you know, I've known him for a long time. Like Courage JD, who we don't know, is another person of color. I think he's Hispanic or black. And he was also, but his tweet was just so like PR campaign. I understand like that's your boy, but it's not a good look to where Courage doesn't even acknowledge it. He's just like, you know, some of you guys think he said or some shit like, oh, you know, I lived with him for some time. He wouldn't hurt a fly. Such a great and gentle soul. Gluck, gluck, gluck. I'm just like, bro, like,
if
stop
he's really
it,
his
man.
boy,
Yeah.
right? I mean, slug him in the gut. You know what I mean? Punch him.
Exactly.
You know what
Exactly.
I mean? And then shame him a little bit and be like, yeah, man, like he's still my friend. Like,
Yeah.
but like this stuff, like he's gonna learn quickly that you can't say that. You know what I mean? Like that's perfectly okay. You know what I mean? Like I think that if you hold your friends responsible or accountable rather, you know, for their actions, like that's fine, dude. It's like, you know what I mean? And you're like, hey, it's still friends, man. Like, you know what I mean? We're still good. Like I know this is gonna embarrass you, but you brought this upon yourself. Like you gotta get over it. I'm not gonna like stop babying him. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's a good way of putting it. Like, don't baby him. It's just like, we know you're gonna ride out for your boy. We're not saying to crucify him, but come on, man. It definitely sounds like he said the word, and you want to give this like PR sanitized response about, oh, he's such a great. I've lived with him. He's a great person. You want her to find. Miss me with that. Like 100% miss me with that. And on all these people, it's like, yeah, ride out for your boy, but it's a better look to be like, yeah, my boy messed up. You know what I mean? And we're going to talk about it. That is more real than anything else. You know what I mean? Like, then, I don't know, man. It's just, it's crazy. You know, just, you know, like, oh, yeah. So his comment was, we've lived together for over a year now, and I can say with full confidence that I know that that word isn't part of your vocabulary. You wouldn't hurt a fly, and you're always willing to go the extra mile to help others. I'm proud of you for not turning a blind eye. Miss me with that. Courage JD, miss me with that. You and your 1.6 million followers on Twitter, miss me with that, Courage JD. I'm proud of you.
Here's my takeaway from it, right? Maybe you said it, maybe you didn't say it, but the controversy is there. And why don't you just make a sizable donation to, I don't know, a historically black college or an underprivileged black community? You know, there's a lot of things you can do where you're like, all right, maybe even if I didn't do it, like, let me focus all this energy towards a charitable effort.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I don't know. It just seems super easy, especially when, I don't know, you play video games for a living. Like, you know?
Yes.
No shade on people in the entertainment business, but, like, come on.
And even worse, you know, FaceSwag was talking about how he just did an interview at Variety encouraging people of color to come into the space. And he's just like, yo, if I don't say anything about this, I'm a fraud. You know what I mean? He's like, I just did an interview talking about this, being a person of color in this type of space where there is this kind of vitriol, where there are people who do it with malintent, which, again, I don't think Symphony did it with malintent, but there are people who do it malintent. Like, Swag talks about how, you know, he has to mute people in Call of Duty, you know, because, like, when you kill someone in Warzone, the Battle Royale thing, when you kill someone in Warzone, you can hear their microphone for a few seconds. And when they see that it's him, they will purposely say the N-word with the ER just to get at him, just so they know that there's like 30,000 people watching this guy.
That's like every 10 seconds on Rust. That's why a lot of these streamers just turn off their global and their proximity chat entirely now. Yeah, like that's what it's filled with. Like that's why Rust is one of the like most toxic, you know, games out there. But like you turn that shit off and it's still fun. But like it's just all over the place. It's all over the place in other games too, obviously. But like I don't know, man. Like there are people that do it just to either get the shock value, but they don't know who they're hurting. And then people do say it because they're genuinely angry. And they know that that word is going to, you know, make somebody upset and it's going to hurt them intentionally. So it sucks.
Exactly. I love Soul Getter Guy in the chat. Wouldn't hurt to fly, but pop off the N-word from time to time.
Yeah, I know,
like
right?
That has nothing to do with anything.
You know how we do. Sometimes.
I wouldn't hurt a fly, but I'd burn a cross in someone's door from time to time. Like, it's just my freedom of expression. You know what I mean? Like, dude, fuck off with that.
Yeah.
You know? And don't defend him. Don't defend him. Courage. And, you know, stop being weird. Or, like,
exactly. Just be like that. That's my homie. He bought that. We're gonna talk, and then somebody be like, I'm gonna do a stream with the top black and person of color, like brown and black people, and everybody else under the rainbow on Twitch, and we're gonna have a conversation. Boom. Yeah, that's what you do.
You know what's crazy about this situation right now is that when I'm agreeing with somebody from FaZe Clan, and they're the cooler head in these kind of things, like that's the person that I'm like, you're really acting stupid if I'm like, yeah, the guy from FaZe Clan has a fucking good point. You know what I mean?
Bro,
like
phase the fuck up. Phase up.
God.
Speaking of phasing up, we're going to take a short break and we'll be right back with the other topics we have in store for you. Stick around.
With a cape. No, anything. Yeah. Cape is always crazy. Cape is always crazy. Look, there are clowns walking the streets right now.
Right now.
There is no one dressed in a cape. Rogue Wave Podcast, the frequency for all things pop culture and the disruptors behind it. Streaming every Wednesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern on Facebook.com/Rogue Wave Podcast and available immediately following the live stream wherever major podcasts can be found.
button smash, everybody. Thank you for sticking by and listening to us whenever you listen to a podcast, such as Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio, and more. What's going on, everybody? So, moving right along in gaming news, a great thing happened in a franchise that I know we all love, Pokemon. Had a 25th event, 25 years of Pokemon. Holy crap. My
For
God.
real, dude.
You feel old yet?
Aren't you feeling it now, Mr. Krabs?
Yeah.
Oh, man, Chris, what went down? Pokemon did a couple different things.
Yeah, so first of all, their 25th anniversary was on February 27th, 2021, and they popped up with a little event that they streamed online, and just like Nintendo companies like to do, or Nintendo friend companies like to do. So they actually had a little video that kind of walked through the history and the different innovations that they had. Dude, it was pretty awesome. Jay, what'd you think of it?
The series of it's like card game, anime, game, right? And it's like 10 years later, card game, anime, game.
Oh, I mean,
and then
not
go through Tamagotchi,
not much has changed.
Card game, expansion pack, Rumble pack, boom, and it's just like throwing it all at you. And I'm like, I had that, I had that, I had that, I had that. I had that too.
Do you remember?
Remember?
Yeah, I know, dude. It was a member berries moment for sure. But dude, I loved it, man. It was awesome. It was good to see all that going through. And I'm like, hey, wait, I never had a Game Boy Color. I only had like the first one, but
Yeah,
I stole
same.
Pokemon Red from my best friend, and I still have it. I think.
That's awesome.
So I think the funniest thing about watching the whole thing was seeing all of like the accessories and like different peripherals that just really like never went anywhere.
Oh,
Just
dude,
the one-offs.
I had that add-on for N64. So me and my best friend, after he went and bought a different game called Pokemon Blue, so I could play Red.
Completely
'cause
different
he's
game.
my best friend in the world, and he would cover for me if I were to say something stupid on Twitter. I'm just kidding. He wouldn't. He would hold me. So
It's a callback. All the greats do it.
So he had that expansion where you could play, you could upload your own Pokemon like red or blue or yellow characters into Pokemon Stadium.
Yeah, buddy.
So we like maxed the shit out of our characters, and then we fought each other in Pokemon Stadium. It was awesome.
Yeah, I mean, really cool compilation. It just kind of shows how far we come, which is great. They probably took like, I don't know, the first 10 minutes or so of the presentation, and then they give us a nice little preview of Pokemon Snap. Spoilers: it's gonna basically work like the last one, which is on a rail, and lots of fun. Brightly colored creatures, everyone's happy. And then they announced something that we always wanted, but we didn't think would actually happen.
And now that we've seen it, I still don't know if I really want it.
Casey's been asking for this for a while.
No,
They announced,
an open world Pokemon game. You say?
hell yeah. Tell us about it.
Is it though?
Is it though? Yeah,
Is it?
exactly.
That's my
Ooh.
question. Is it though, dude? I don't know.
Why not?
The hallmark criticism of Pokemon games in the past couple of years have mostly been they have millions upon millions upon millions of dollars. Like, we're talking, they are the most successful single franchise of anything ever. Okay? More than just games. I'm talking merchandise sales, the Woiks.
More than Christianity?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure Game Freak and the Pokemon Company could buy the Catholic Church.
Oh,
I'm certain of it.
Christ.
You'd think that for making what should be a AAA title, these games would be a lot nicer looking. And they're just not. They phone it in. They recycle graphics. I mean, listen, we're talking about a franchise that started on a Game Boy and had sprites that were like 16 pixels by 16 pixels. So I don't think we've ever really been asking for the royals here. But when you got the money, put it back into the company. I mean, that's like the first rule of business, but I feel like that's a rule, that's a code of ethics you should stand by.
But it's a Nintendo Switch game.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a PS5 game. Like, it's only gonna go so far.
Yeah, I guess, but I don't know. I mean, look, you could put The Witcher 3 on Switch and it doesn't look terrible.
I mean, it's
Cap.
it's pretty dumb. Cap. Anyways, this game, just so everyone knows, this game's called Pokemon Legends Arceus. It is gonna be taking place like before the way back before the events of like Pokemon Red and Blue. It looks kind of Breath of the Wildy because like that worked really well at first, so everyone's doing that now.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm excited, man. You actually throw a Pokeball like across the screen, like from where you're sitting.
Cool. Yeah, you sneak up on one and you throw it at them before like you get into like that battle scene or whatever. You know, you're not throwing it in the middle of a battle. That's all pretty cool to me. It looks a lot like, you know, what's the name of it? Sword and Shield, but just without the battle scene. I think that's all it is.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know if you can go to like the depths and climb the mountain like you can and, you know, Breath of the Wild or whatever. But I mean, like, the thing is, to me, we already got.
I'll have a stamina bar now.
Yeah, I know, right? You know, we already got an open world, the most open world you could say, Pokemon game and Pokemon Go. That's true. That's straight up real life, dude.
It's the real world.
Yeah. That's the most open you can get, I guess, right? But nah, I mean, another Pokemon game. I'm stuck to, you know, Kanto region Pokemon for real. Like, if it doesn't have them in there, I'm like, I really don't want to play it. It was weird for me to play Sword and Shield, you know, without having like the whole array of the original 151 in there.
Yeah, it looks interesting. It does look like that Breath of the Wild style, and I'm kind of for it because I've wanted a Pokemon MMO for a long time. I mean, it's just, to me, it's a no-brainer, right? But people have always said, well, they're not going to deviate from the current strategy they have that's making them, you know, oodles and boodles of money. But, you know, if you think about it, you know, you're in this big open Pokemon world because we all watched the cartoons when we were younger. You know, you get to explore. You actually get to feel like it's a Pokemon world. And Casey, I get what you're saying with, like, the graphic and things like that, because if they did have a comparable console, which we're going to talk about later, that in which you can up the graphics. I mean, I'm not asking for, like, you know, how, you know, like Demon Souls looks on the PS5, but
no ray tracing.
But, you know, so something where you have like smooth, like for frame rates, you know, the grass is nice, the terrain is cool, and you know, it can have still like that artsy Pokemon style. But if you look at games like Dragon Ball Fighter Z, like that is high fidelity, high frame rate, beautiful artwork, and with like sort of like today's graphics, and it's very smooth. So if you have something like that, but for Pokemon and open world, I think it would translate better. But I've always wanted like an open world MMO. Is this what I think when I think of a Pokemon MMO? No, but I think it's a good start.
Hell no.
It's definitely not, but I think it's a good start. Maybe like this is like the prototype where they're like, all right, we're dipping our toes in it. Let's see if we can do it.
Yeah. In another year, I want to see, or 2 years, let's say maximum, I want to see you grinding out for skill trees, and and I want you to become a blacksmith.
We're like you're
crafting your own Pokeballs.
You're crafting Pokeballs.
But also think of like how much information, like you think of like the Dragon Ball game, right? There's only a handful of characters that they have to 3D animate. Where this one, there's like hundreds of like little creatures that you have to not only animate, but each one you can catch an unlimited amount of them, and each one of them has like a certain amount of you know, stats and move sets that you can give to them. So like there's a lot of data that goes into the background of a game like this. So I mean, I get it, but it's also it's also not just like another one in the main title or in the main series. It's a spinoff, Pokemon Legends Arceus. So I mean, it could just be an experiment, see where it goes. If it works out, maybe we'll build on it. I do want to give them
props that this game might as well be called Pokemon God, which is absolutely like outrageous. Arceus is like the god of Pokemon. Like you can catch God in Diamond and Pearl.
Oh really?
Yeah. Like,
are you looking forward to Diamond and Pearl? Because that was another thing that they announced: Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl remake.
Thank you for hopping off my segue there, buddy boy.
Now you know how it feels, pal.
Yeah, pretty.
All right, friends.
Here's the thing.
You got it, buddy.
Here's the thing. My peak Pokemon performance was when I played Soul Silver in college, and I completed the Pokedex. So I played with a lot of people who had played Diamond and Pearl because it's the same generation, but it's got all the guys you pretty much can't get. And I think to this day, there are a lot of Pokemon players who swear by Diamond and Pearl being sort of the epitome of your classic Pokemon game. They've added a lot of stuff since. They've added a ton of stuff in X and Y and Sun and Moon with EV training and like all the little accoutrements of like completely micromanaging your Pokemon's genetics, which is weird on a whole nother level, but whatever, go off, I guess, for people in the competitive scene. But they also stripped out a bunch of stuff. Like, they don't really have stuff like the Battle Tower anymore. And they kind of, I mean, they sort of do. They had a Battle Mansion once, but they changed it up. Like, as things have gone on, if you want to play a Pokemon game that has the absolute most stuff in it, Diamond and Pearl was your answer.
That fourth generation. Yeah,
that
absolutely.
Fourth generation was unbelievable. And that was the last. I mean, I played a little of X and Y, but that was really when I more or less dropped out of Pokemon. And I feel like I went out on a high note. I'm excited for this remake, but it also kind of makes me wonder how many times you're going to do a remake, because they remade Ruby and Sapphire, and those came out the same time as the original remakes of Red and Green.
Mm-hmm.
You had Fire Red and Leaf Green. So it's like, okay, so they'll put out a new version of Diamond and Pearl, but are they going to... First of all, we haven't had like a third version, like a Platinum or a Yellow or a Crystal, in who knows how long. And I would love to see a third version again, because that was like, you would always get like the definitive, you get some kind of little extra bonus. Or are we going to get like another Kanto remake? Because they did that with Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, and it was like kind of a remake, kind of not. It's all over the place. But I don't I don't feel like they're getting close to capturing those past glories, because I've never heard of anybody speak to one of the Pokemon remakes as being better than the one before it.
Well, it also comes down to what is the technology at the time. So I 100% think that like Fire Red and Leaf Green was brought because they knew that the end game, they were looking at the next generation, which was going to be, Pearl and Diamond. And they wanted a way to get those Gen 1 Pokemon to be able to come all the way to this fourth generation, because you couldn't go all the way from your original Red and Blue, bring it into Ruby and Sapphire.
Yeah, you can't go from Game Boy Color to Game Boy Advance.
You can't do it.
Yeah.
And the way that they went around that was you could actually bring things in from Game Boy Advance into the DS, which is really cool.
Yeah.
It
has two slots for a reason.
Yeah. And now we have things like the Pokemon Bank. So like when they're remaking these games, they're allowing you to continuously bring your Pokemon forward to there. And so now that we're actually putting things into like a server that you can access, like this is kind of like, what more do you really want? Like, I don't know how else. Like, this is the ultimate way to keep moving your guys forward.
Yeah.
I think it's the ultimate way to keep your guys moving forward, but it's also the ultimate way of like bringing new generations into it, right? The reason why they keep remaking this the same way and like having it be so similar is because, like our kids will be playing this at a certain point, right? It's kind of like our baseball now. Like baseball used to be just passed down from generation to generation. Baseball sucks at this point. Like, you know what I mean?
Fuck
Like
baseball.
I fucking hate baseball now. So, but like I did love it at one point when I was a kid, and my dad was happy that I loved it. You know what I mean? And he was like psyched, and he's like,
hands up if you were forced to play Little League. I don't know.
yeah, for sure,
Oh, yeah.
for real, right? But like this is what we're going to be forcing our kids to do, right?
100%.
Because we're not allowed to go outside and stuff like that anymore. But I think it's good to have like newer generations experience it, similarly to how we experienced it the first time, and with like Eevee and Pikachu, like that was the way it went. I had my nephew playing that game, and I was like, dude, this is awesome. Like he gets to see the same way. It's better quality, but
Yeah.
so I'm fine with them kind of rehashing things over and over again, because it's just gonna keep
Back in my day, critical hits were based on speed, and focus energy didn't work right.
Yep, exactly.
Well, speaking of better quality, there have been rumors for about a year now that they're going to be releasing a new updated version of the Switch. And we actually have kind of some confirmed reports about a kind of a new model of the Switch, which is pretty cool. That supposedly they are thinking is gonna be released by the end of the year. so we're looking at a couple things like we're going to be looking at OLED screens at 720p for the handheld mode, as well as getting up to that 4K resolution in docked mode.
4K is a myth.
So we'll see. They keep, they've been talking about this next version as being like a Switch Pro type of deal. There's no word on the actual processor quite yet. All we know is the screen information. I mean, I'm cool. Why not? Let's do it. Anyone else have any strong thoughts on?
I won't believe it until I see it. I've been let down by rumors of a Switch Pro too many times.
Well, I mean, they're working on it. This was confirmed. Like there was like a soft model upgrade with a better battery that came out actually when I got my Switch, which is about 2 years ago, I think. So like these smaller iterations seem to be the way to go. Switch is still killing it. So why not keep going on there? Yeah. And also, if we're talking about upgrading things, Elgato just announced a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, it's so crazy. The Elgato out of nowhere, well, they've been cooking some stuff for a while, but to quickly go over it, we want you guys to know about this because, we're streamers, we're content creators, and we're in no way, advertising this, but we thought it was cool. So Elgato has a couple of products they just put out. And if you know Elgato, you know that they make a lot of like streaming peripherals and things that'll help you out in your content creation. So one of the things was these acoustic wall panels that are modular that seem pretty neat because, one of the things when you're streaming and you want good a good quality product, you want to have great audio, you want to have like good sound, and a part of that is soundproofing your room. Now, you don't need to encase your entire room or wherever you are with these sound panels. They come in a pack of 6 at first, I think for 130 something US. And the panels seem pretty big. If you look at the Elgato video on their YouTube, they seem like a pretty good size. Now, I'm interested in this because, you always want to improve the quality of your streams or the content you're creating. Another thing that they put out was a green screen mouse pad. Now, yeah, I was just like, this sounds weird, like a green screen mouse pad. So it actually came from...
You can be honest, it sounds insane.
Yeah, no, it does. It came from a joke. They put it out, I think, for like an April Fool's joke or something like that. They're like, oh, here's this Elgato green spray. You can spray on your stuff and it'll become green. You can key it out. And one of the things they showed was like, oh, you can actually spray your desk green and you can key it out so you can have a top-down view. And people were like, wait a minute, it's actually a good idea.
It's a real good idea.
What if you had a top-down camera and you're doing stuff like, Magic the Gathering stream and you had like a top-down view, like my friend Paige does, like knitting and sewing and stuff. She'll have a top-down camera showing like her hands working and stuff like that. So what if you had a green screen layout on the bottom and you can key stuff in? Another thing they show, someone playing Smash Brothers and is showing, the controller, because apparently people like seeing all the action happening. Some COD streamers do that too, where they show the controller or their hands and their keyboard. Like one of the famous streamers, Dr. Lupo, does that, when he plays Fortnite or Tarkov or whatever he's got going on. He's a top-down camera to show his hands on his keyboard and mouse. I guess some people like to see that. Hey, so there you go for some content creation. And the last thing that they showcase, we just want to let you guys know, just because I think it's cool, some light strips. So now everybody knows that like when you make content, you want your stuff to look good, right? So a lot of that is decking out your room in some like nice lighting and stuff like that. So when people turn on your stream or they look at your content, like, oh, there's something nice going on there. Yeah, like if you're watching now, Jason Matt got some lighting going on there. and there's a big question of, oh, what kind of lights do I get? How are they controlled? Things like that. And again, just another cool thing for your setup. So Elgato came up with light strips so you can put them on your desk or in your background just to make your setup look nicer. So the Elgato, like if anyone doesn't know, like they're pretty good sponsors. Please, they're pretty good.
Hashtag not an ad, but please.
Yeah, hashtag not an ad, not sponsored. Just thought it was cool to let you guys know. Yeah, Epic is buying Fall Guys. What? I saw their tweet where the Fall Guys were like, "Let's go!" Good for them. Good for them.
The Tonic Media Group.
They can finally focus on cheating in the game.
Tell us how you really feel.
Dude. Oh, I'm so psyched that Epic bought them. Now the boring game can have people, floss dancing in it, and they can have other skins and stuff like that, and they can buy up all the media, and they can have skins from DC and from from Marvel and from just everything. Man, it's fine. Like, I'm glad that this game got bought by a huge company because Like maybe they like, and genuinely they might actually focus on the cheating thing. You know, that's what threw me off the game so fast, right? I saw these two guys just slingshot to the finish line. I was like, okay, this game sucks, and I returned it immediately. I was like, this is so stupid. I was like, this game's been out for a week and a half, and it's already plagued with cheaters. So I was like, I'm out.
It's crazy how it just caught fire and it just became the game to play. It's nuts.
Yeah.
Absolutely crazy.
It's so simple and just so fun. I know, like, everyone wants to be on the show Wipeout, except no one can actually survive on the show Wipeout. So why not just have a digital version of it where you're a bean person?
I got
And
my
it's so
physical
rapid fire.
tomorrow. I'm going to ask my doctor if I can survive Wipeout. He's gonna be
Wipeout?
like,
You should do
absolutely.
that.
I was like, "You can just-"
Your bones will just crumble.
He's like, you're about to die now.
Yeah. And then you asked,
It's
what if I
weird.
was a bean person? What if I was a little colorful jelly bean? Just
I just want to be a little bean.
Jay,
yeah.
you're just going to tell your doctor, it's just be like, hey, man,
so
every
that's-
morning I wake up as naked on a beach with a rock. It's weird.
Yeah, I know I can survive that.
You know you can survive that.
But in other news, Sony is discontinuing the PlayStation Store movies and TV shows. Now, I forgot that was even a thing.
Same here, dude.
Yeah.
I was just like, wait, oh yeah, they do have those. And it's such a stupid model because, you know, okay, you buy or rent a movie on the PlayStation Store, and I'm just like, but where does it go? Where does it live? It's not going to stay there for long. Renting, I guess, but they also gave you the option to buy, I believe. And I'm just like,
Yep.
but it's just going to live on PlayStation? That doesn't do me any good on any other,
Yeah.
wherever I am in the world. What? So, hey, they had to, you know, it was a good idea. Like, somebody named Bob thought of it in a boardroom for expansion and stuff. Like, we need to make, I don't know, TV's movies. Okay, cool. There you
Well,
go,
they've done
Bob.
it
All right,
since-
there you go. And there we
Basically,
go.
since PS3, they've had that option, and it's been on the PlayStation Store. And like every time I go to check like for deals, I'm like, oh yeah, there's movies and TVs here. However, they talked about like their shifting landscape. Like I think they shut down PlayStation View, the streaming service, I believe.
Oh,
Yeah.
Even though, and so they decided, you know, there's the media market right now is. There's so many different streaming platforms and different ways to get this content. Is it really worth our time to keep housing and managing these items on our store and holding up this storefront? So I believe August 31st is when the store will shut down to purchase new things. I believe they said that you'll still be able to access content that you've purchased through there. It's just that you won't be able to buy any new content. And again, I think all of us had the same reaction of like, oh yeah, okay, that's fine. Just know it's coming down the line, and it absolutely makes sense.
I just think it's weird that they even had to make a statement about it. I mean, obviously you do your business, you know what I mean? Like you have to, because people did actually buy movies from there. But like, you guys are gonna get made fun of because you guys should have just
100%.
stopped it and just said, yeah, it's not here anymore. I don't know where it went.
It brings back fond memories of when the Wii eShop went down, like 7 years later. In 2013, it's like, oh yeah, we're discontinuing service. You can still play everything, but you can't buy anything new, and you can't get any more points. And everyone's just like, I haven't bought something
thought
new
about
on
this.
this in years.
I haven't thought about
You just invented this back into my brain because you said something.
Yeah, they're just like, you don't have to go home, but you got to get the hell out of here. But speaking of other stuff, looks like Destiny is promising crossplay by the end of 2021. Wait a minute, it hasn't been crossplay this whole time?
It has not
So
been.
I can play on my PlayStation on my PC against myself.
You
with
can't.
myself.
So Destiny Bungie released an update or like a blog post talking about some improvements that are coming over the year, some stuff they've shifted around their timeline for some of the expansions, of course, because of COVID. Understandable. They announced, so last year they announced that they were working towards crossplay, and the first piece of that actually was to do a cross save, which they rolled out I think actually probably almost 2 years ago. I think that might have been a little longer than that, where if you can link all of your different accounts, so like your Steam account, at the time your Battle.net account when they were with Activision, your Microsoft account, and your PlayStation account, meaning that doesn't matter what platform you're on, you have access to your same saves. However, you still had to be on the same platform that you were playing with your friends, even though your characters would kind of jump between each different one. They would follow you around. You still couldn't like play PlayStation and Xbox at the same time. But in part of this next kind of sprint that we see this year, they are going to be kind of actual crossplay. So I can jump on my PlayStation 5 where it looks all nice and pretty and run some raids with some of my friends that are on Xbox, which is great. This should have been here all along, but I think that should be the case with every single game that comes out.
It should have been there all along. Nailed
it.
DMCA. Nice.
Anyways.
Oh, man.
So, yeah, that's great. And speaking of things that are in the kind of video sphere, what's going on with Mass Effect movie?
Yeah, I was going to say, speaking of things that are nice. So, Henry Cavill, the guy who played Superman and Geralt of Rivia, toss a coin to Henry Cavill, WB. What are you doing? Huh? We get a Supergirl before another Superman? Anyway, so Henry Cavill was in the makeup chair for The Witcher, and he just casually on Instagram was holding up some papers, and he was just like, hey, so am I reading a script, or is this a bunch of stuff? Is this a bunch of words on paper, or a new project? He said, secret project, or just a handful of papers with random words on it. Guess we'll have to wait and see. And it's him sitting in the makeup chair, getting the wig put on for Geralt of Rivia for The Witcher, and in his hand, in the foreground, it's like a bunch of blurry words. And the internet sleuth sharpened the image and was just like, hey, some of those words are very familiar from a franchise that we all know and love called Mass Effect. And it's just like, oh, is Henry Cavill brushing up on Mass Effect lore because he wants to work on a Mass Effect project?
Second question, did they print out Mass Effect wiki pages?
Hey, man, you have to sit in that chair for a couple hours. I think just, looking at a screen or maybe... Like it's a big packet of papers. Maybe those were notes going along with the real bits and pieces. Maybe the script for a TV show or a movie for a Mascular Fector. You know what I mean? I mean, I would be happy. I mean, Henry Cavill is Shepard. I didn't know I needed that. I'll take it. I'll take it, man. Yeah,
no, man. Like Witcher was awesome. I'm excited for season 2. You know what's really funny about this is that if he does get cast into a Mass Effect either movie or TV show, and he's like doing interviews and he's doing his rounds for it, right? He'll be talking about it a whole lot because there's a video out there of him just nonstop talking about how he's a gamer and how he's played through The Witcher 3 5 or 6 times, and he's like all of his co-actors and everything like that, his co-stars. Like that are sitting in interviews with him are just rolling their eyes at a certain point. They're just like,
I love it. They're like, he's
up.
saying it again. We get it. You're a gamer. It's like, yeah, but this outlet hasn't heard them again.
It's like, wow,
right.
Wow,
So,
Henry. Everybody knows that you got the call to be Superman while you were playing World of Warcraft. Like, so great for you.
Yep. Like it's so funny. Like they're all just like super stressed out about it. I hope we get more of those montages because they're actually really funny.
Oh hell yeah! I love that the Mass Effect games. I'm down to I didn't have a casting for Shepard, but I'll take Henry Cavill, man. Give him all the work. I mean, WB's not doing anything with him. Speaking of movies, the Borderlands movie cast Tiny Tina. What?
This movie continues to I don't even know what to make of it at this point.
It's the most odd casting. I mean, I don't know what Eli Roth is doing. What's going on with this?
Yeah. So it looks like they've cast Tiny Tina, or rather, the role of Tiny Tina will be played by Ariana Greenblatt, who a lot of people probably don't know that name, but she played young Gamora in Avengers Infinity
that's
War.
where she's from.
Yes. Of course,
gotcha.
that's you looked up the IMDb page because you're like, where I've seen her in 8 million things, haven't I? That's what happens there. But in the flashback scene where young Gamora meets Thanos kind of for the first time, that is who will be playing Tiny Tina, who is a very popular character in Borderlands. So why not? But we'll see what happens.
Yeah. I mean, those are some big shoes to fill. If you guys don't know Tiny Tina's character, I mean, that is some big shoes to fill. I mean, the girl who played her, Ask What You're Playing, formerly of Game Trailers, did a bang-up job. I mean, I don't know how you can top the performance. I mean, that girl, she was young in that Marvel movie. She did a pretty good job for what she was given. It was fine. But now she's got to step it up because Tiny Tina, you got to step it up for that.
I'm expecting
I'm pretty
a
sure
lot of rudeness.
That girl didn't say any words in Infinity War, did she?
She did. Yeah.
Yeah,
Did
she was like, "What did it cost?" And
Oh,
Thanos was like,
yeah,
yeah,
she
that's
was
right,
also
that's
like, you know, I'm looking for my mother. Where's my mother? And then like, then Thanos did his whole
Oh,
thing. And
right,
she was
right,
like,
right,
oh,
okay.
neat. And then, you know, what did it cost? Everything.
Gotcha,
Yeah.
okay, I
Give it a
remember
few lines, and then, but like, hey, good for her. I mean,
Yeah.
I wonder what the audition was like because I don't know. That's gonna be interesting to see. I hope, hopefully, she comes through because, damn, I'd be nervous if I was that girl because you got a hell of a role to fill. This movie's weird. I mean, it's weird. Like Kate Blanchett.
Yeah.
What? Kevin Hart? Huh? Who's weird? Really weird. But so a while back we talked about the Super Nintendo world that looked awesome in Japan, and it's slated for to be built in the U.S. You know, sooner than we expected. But then some news came out that the Super Nintendo world in Florida got delayed to 2025, which
I'm never gonna live to see this.
yeah, I mean, it was delayed for nearly a year after construction at Universal Studios theme park, and then it got delayed even more. I mean, I didn't think it'd be built this year, obviously, but I think, you know, the way that COVID is being handled in America, like we weren't going to go there anytime soon. So, hey,
There's something wrong in America with COVID, man? I mean, Texas just opened back up and everybody's taking masks off. I thought we were
PAX South, anyone?
Oh, my God. I am actually surprised that it's like this soon because I didn't realize that when we first heard about this, I thought we were talking like much further down the line. And then they were like, oh, yeah, they started working on it and then they had to stop. And they're still thinking it's going to come out and like open up in 2025. So the full theme park is going to be built in now, what, 4 years?
4 years.
It's not like a big
tight.
theme park, though, I guess. It's just like a quick, like, little sideshow almost, from what I understand. Right, it's just like a little thing that you can walk through, and it's like, okay, cool. Like that's what I've gathered.
Oh, neat,
from,
Nintendo, cool.
Yeah, like if they do take their time and they do build it in the next 4 years, like I want it to be awesome. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I want it to be the
if
full
I
thing.
have to travel to Florida and I'm not impressed by this, I'm gonna be angry, man. I might just stay in Florida. You know what I
I
mean?
demand to
And
be
I know Sergio's
impressed
from Florida.
by the children's theme park.
Yeah.
Florida man. I mean,
Jay
might
is just
start acting
pissing off
Florida,
the
you know?
entire company tonight, or the entire country tonight.
yeah, I
It's
mean,
just-
it looked awesome, like what they have in Japan, and that was just like the Mario part of the Nintendo world. I can't wait to see what they're doing with the rest of it.
Yeah.
But now we're gonna go into a little segment we like to call "What's Everyone Playing?" And first up, Chris, what you been playing?
So we're going to talk about it in a little bit with the PlayStation Plus releases for March. One of the games is a small indie game called Maquette for PS5. It is an Annapurna game, and we've talked about their kind of that little indie studio is like killing it as far as what they
The little indie studio that could.
Yeah, it's great. You play as a little first person, like just kind of slow walkthrough, kind of like What Remains of Edith Finch, where you're walking through and you see text and the text tells a story. But what you're walking through is like this this open area that has a small miniature version of the area that you're in. So there'll be things like you'll be walking around and you'll find like a small bridge. Then you'll bring that small bridge to the little model version of the area that you're in and place it in a spot that you couldn't get to. And when you place the small bridge on the model, when you go to that spot in the real world, the bridge appears. So there's like this fun kind of back and forth with playing with like size and how the two are connect to each other. Really cool. It's free if you have PlayStation Plus and a PS5. Absolutely download it, play it. Apparently it's pretty quick. This is also on a Booster Greg recommendation as well. He knows what kind of games
Booster
I like.
who?
He said I should play it. So, yeah, Dead to
Wow.
Us. My bad.
He shall return.
Anyways, would
miss you.
recommend. Casey, what are you playing?
Me? Listen, I don't want to say I have a problem, but as you guys know, I'm back on my Animal Crossing kick, baby. They put out a bunch of Mario series furniture. We
It's
talked
me,
about
Mario. Like how I say it.
Yeah, it's a me, Spaghetti Boy. They announced this a while back when they were doing all the cool Mario 35th anniversary stuff, but now the time has come. And you got warp pipes that work and can transport you all over your island. You got starmen. You got fire flowers. You got coins that pick up and disappear. You got blocks that you jump up and hit whenever you walk past them. It's great.
Wait, could I go to my girlfriend's island with firepower and burn her trees down?
Yes. No.
Really?
You can you can touch it and it makes a little noise.
That's it?
That's
All right.
it.
Maybe I'll get it anyway, though. Supreme
Wow.
Mario Twins.
It's kind of neat. Yeah.
Jay, what have you been playing?
I've been playing a game called No, I'm just kidding. Today's wipe day for us, though, so I will be playing that later. Stardew Valley is what I've been playing for the last 15 hours or so.
Hey.
I think it was. Another farming simulator kind of game. This game is actually really hard. It's hard to make money in this game, or I'm just bad at it. I don't really know. But what I found is that you get tired really easily in the game. Once 2 o'clock comes around, you pass out. So you can't just ignore the time of day when you're running through a cave or a mine or whatever it is. You have consequences for staying up all night. And some old guy that lives in the forest picks your pocket if you fall asleep in the woods. So
just like real life.
And he's like, yeah, somebody stole your money. I don't know what happened. So anyway, the game was really hard to get money. I had to farm up a bunch of stuff, and then literally all my crops died the next day because it was the next season.
Because
I was like,
times they are a changing.
Yeah, it was absolutely super cruel. So I got super angry at it. I said, I deserve this money. And I opened up Notepad, and I opened up the file in which the game exists, and I edited the Notepad to give me 500 grand. And I woke up the next morning, and I was a rich boy. And so now I'm just going to go buy a bunch of shit and ruin my experience. The end. Yeah, I'm just gonna go back and play Rust. So
speaking of ruined experiences, I've been playing back into Call of Duty. So I've been gearing up again because there's a new season out. Season 2 of Warzone has hit for Call of Duty Black Ops. Hell yeah, brother! So I've been trying to get my weapons up and everything to join everybody back into the fight, dropping into Verdansk, everyone, where there are some zombies now, which are pretty interesting. They're trying to do a lot of interesting things there. But yeah, that's all we've been playing here. What's free this week? We got PS Plus for March. We got Maquette. Final Fantasy VII Remake is free on PS Plus.
Yes,
that's a steal.
It's kind of huge. Of note, I believe that the PlayStation Plus version does not give you the PS5 copy, so it's just the PS4 version of it. So when the PS5 version drops, so crazy. just so everyone knows,
Damn, so if you got it for free right now on PlayStation or your PS4, then so what happens to people on PS5 if you go to PS Plus? It's not there.
The PS5 update hasn't been released yet. So at the moment, if you get it, you're getting the PS4 version of the game.
I see.
And if you did not have it before, so if you didn't have it before, you only have it through PlayStation Plus and you have a PS5, it will not come with the upgrade. You would have to pay for the PS5 version to get that.
That's so odd. So they're offering it for free on the store, and on PlayStation 5, obviously you can access the PS Plus store, and they're like, this is the PS4 version, and you won't get to upgrade to when the PS5 version releases later on.
Not for free.
That's I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they did the same thing with Control. Like Control, there was a whole thing about them. The PS4 version doesn't upgrade to the PS5 version, but then when it came to the PS5, they just gave it to you for free on the PlayStation Plus when it launched.
Chris, and I come over to your house. I'll wear a mask. I promise. Sign in the PlayStation Network on your PlayStation 5.
If you want to, I just 100% need you to have just act like a stalker. Like, don't tell me. It's got to be the middle of the night.
I'll wear this exact outfit plus my mask.
Exactly. Yeah. I don't want to know that it's you.
Listen, I'm an excellent locksmith. Okay.
Perfect. So, Final Fantasy VII Remake, Remnant from the Ashes, and also Farpoint are on PS Plus as well, and they decided to add another month to Destruction All-Stars because they really want this game to be popular. I don't know how popular it is at the moment, but what have you, you can get it. And then on the Epic Game Store, Wargame Red Dragon. I know nothing about this game. I just know that you can get it for free on the Epic Store, and who doesn't like free games?
Boom! Speaking of free stuff, you guys can listen to us on all of the apps that are available to listen to a podcast, because right now that's all the time we have for this episode of Button Smash. Thank you all for sticking around here live on Twitch, catching us on YouTube after the fact, and listen to us everywhere. You guys are great. We love doing this. We do it for you, and we will see you guys later, or we will see you another time.